Hello students, in the previous class we discussed about the sewer design, right? We saw the different formulas, okay, based on hydraulic particulars, right? So sewer design based on the different flow conditions, whether it is flowing full, half full, less than full, greater than full, right? So and also we saw the different hydraulic parameters, what is the area, head perimeter, hydraulic mean radius, and how to calculate the discharge as well as the velocity from that values. Okay. Now in the next topic in this first unit we are having the sewer appurtenances, right? So this sewer appurtenances will be a part of system of sewers. These are part of system of sewers. Okay. So in the system of sewers, so we have a house sewers, right? From there main sewer, then finally it will go to the treatment plant. Okay, treatment plant. So while coming from individual house to treatment plant, right? So the small street sewers or house sewers will be connected with these things, but the pipe may not flow in a straight way, but it has some bends, right? There may be some slope difference, right? So there may be some points to where we can clean, right? So whenever you want to clean it, whenever you want to remove the debris, okay? Why? Because if it is a closed sewer system, right? So if you are using any net kind of thing at your home, there won't be any type of big kind of solid waste may not enter into the sewer line, right? If it is not enter, water will flow very freely without any choking. But in our Indian cities like so you can observe, right, much solid waste, right, even papers, plastics, some many things will be thrown into the wastewater pipelines or sewer lines, right? So due to that there may be a chance of choking, right? So we have to remove that debris, okay? So that the sewage will flow freely, okay? So these kind of situations, whenever there is a connection, whenever there is a junction, right, whenever there is a change of slope, right, so whenever you want to go for maintenance, whenever you want to repair, right, we require so many other appurtenances along with the sewers, okay? So those are called sewer appurtenances. These will improve the flow, right? Those it is used to maintain, repair, then there may be any junctions now. So in that particular case we are going to use these sewer appurtenances, right? Sewer appurtenances are those structures which are constructed at suitable intervals, right, along a sewerage system and help in its efficient operation, right? Efficient operation and maintenance. Efficient operation and maintenance. Okay. How we told, we can repair, we can maintain. Okay, we can go for maintenance, we will go for repair, right? Like that, we will do with help of these appurtenances. These are mainly, the first thing is manhole, right? Manhole will be provided whenever the two sewer lines will be, right? Two sewer pipelines are meeting, or two or the more also meeting at a point, will provide a manhole, right? Next thing is drop manhole. Drop manhole means, so whenever you are joining a house sewer to a main sewer, right? So the level difference is much, so there we will provide the drop manhole. Then we have a third one called lamp hole. So lamp hole will be provided to see, right? So if you are taking a continuous pipeline here, right? So here we have a lamp hole, and from there we are going to use some electrical bulb, right? So now I am observing from here to this place, okay? So that I can see the light from here, I can see the light from here, then I can conclude that there is no obstruction between these two locations, right? So by using these lamp hole, I can check the if there is any obstruction in the pipeline, right? If there is any obstruction here, you can't see light from this point to this point, so that I can know obstruction is there between these 2 points. If there is an obstruction here, I can't see the light from this point to this point here, so I am conclude that here I have a obstruction. Okay, to know that we need to have the lamp holes. Then we have the clean outs. Clean outs means to take all the debris from out of the sewer line. Then we have the street inlets called gullies, right? So if you are observing a road, right, so whenever water storm occurred, right, the storm water will be collected in a small openings. You can, I think you will saw in the cities and towns, the water will go and join with this entry and it will enter into the sewer line or storm water pipe. That is called street inlets called gullies. Then catch basins. So catch basins is a part of street inlet. So where it collects the debris which come along with the storm water, which will be collected, and only water will be given to the sewer, right? Next, flushing tank. So whenever we have some debris accumulated in the pipeline, so with help of the water, like our toilet flusher, no? So if you are flushing there, that solid waste will move along with the water, so that there won't be any unseen condition. Here also, flushing tanks are used in the sewer line to, okay, wash out the things which is accumulated in the pipeline. Then coming to the next one, grease and oil traps. So grease and oil traps were used to collect the oil and grease, okay, at the top of that line, right? Next, inverted siphons we have, and finally we are having the storm water regulators, right? Storm water regulators. So these are used to what is called dispose the excess storm water from the sewer lines to the nearby river or stream. Okay, so these are called appurtenances in the sewer, right? Sewage system. Okay, sewerage system. Okay, we will see one by one. The first thing is manhole, right? So what is mean by manhole means it is a basically RCC structure. It is a basically RCC structure, right? So it is constructed at a, it is basically masonry or RCC structure or chamber, right? Constructed at a suitable intervals along the alignment of sewers to provide access to the sewers for the purpose of, here, come here, for the purpose of inspection, testing, cleaning and removal of obstructions from the sewer line, right? So if you want to do the inspection, okay, testing, cleaning and removal of obstruction. To do this, we have to provide it, right? We have provided, this is the straight sewer line at suitable intervals. We have to select a suitable intervals to give us the access to the sewer pipeline. Normally, sewer pipelines will be at, right? Normally, sewer pipelines will be at normally sewer pipelines will be at from deep depth, right? Suppose 1 meter, 2 meter depth it will be there, right? So from there we have the access to the sewer pipeline. So why you need to access into the sewer line? So we have to remove the, if there is any obstruction, okay, there is any debris we want to remove, right? To do, we have to go for inspection whether the water is going freely or not. We are going to testing, we will go for cleaning, that is to take all the debris there and removal of obstruction. To do these things, so there is a access to the sewer line with help of this masonry or RCC chamber, that is called manhole, right? So why manhole? So man can enter into this chamber, right? And he can work on this. Okay. Next, they also help in joining sewer lines and in changing the direction or alignment as well as the gradient of the sewer. Okay. So the next advantage of this manhole is, right? So whenever we have some gradient, okay? So normally sewer lines are laid with some slope. Then only seaways will move with help of gravity. Okay, we are not pumping the sewer, right? Okay, we are not pumping the seaways, but seaways will move with help of the gravity. Okay, in some area, right, instead of slope the gradient like this, okay, there may be a drop. There may be a drop. Okay. So in this case, right, we have to construct a manhole so that the water may enter here and it will fall, right? So it will join with the another sewer and it will move. Okay. So whenever these kind of pipes are coming from, right, in a gradient, different gradient, so you can use this manhole. Next, another condition is right, here one pipeline is coming like this, right, and this pipeline has to move like this. Okay, so this is the junction. Okay, we complete direction is get changing. So at this point we are going to construct the manhole, right? So changing the direction or alignment or slope, whenever it is there, we are going to construct the manhole, right? Manholes may receive seaways from sewers coming from various directions, also from sewers of various sizes, right? So here what is telling now, here the manhole can receive seaways from various sewers like this. So many sewers can be joined at a point with help of a manhole. That is the one thing. Next thing is whenever you want to join a small sewer to a big sewer, right? Small sewer to big sewer, right? So it is small one, it is very big. So if you want to join small sewer with big sewer, we can't. We are not able to get some hole here, and we can't join simply like that. Okay. So whenever these kind of junctions or joinings are there, right? So you have to construct a manhole. So now finally we are going to conclude that, right? So manholes are constructed, okay, to have the maintenance, testing, right? Then inspection, cleaning and removal of debris, and it is constructed with the RCC or masonry structure. Okay. Then this manhole is constructed at where the point so many sewers are joining at a point, and there is a difference in size of sewer. Then there is a change in direction. And also there is a drop in gradient. Okay. So at all these 4-5 cases, we are going to construct the manhole. Right. So next, manholes are usually constructed directly over the center line of the sewer. Right. If you are taking a top view, right. So if this is the pipeline, you can construct manhole in the center line of this particular pipeline. Okay. So there are circular, rectangular or square shape. Okay. You can see circular manhole like this. Okay. You can see rectangular. You can see, right, square also. So all these shapes it will be available. Okay. Next, location of manhole. Okay. So location of manhole is provided. Okay. If you are taking a straight pipeline or a very lengthy sewer line, no? So at suitable intervals you have to construct the manhole. But already we know that, right? So so for direction change, to join different sizes of pipes, right, wherever alignment is changed. Okay. So at that condition normally we will construct. But if you are taking a very straight line, no? So for that we are having some guidelines to set this location of manholes. Okay. Now we will see. Manholes are provided at every change in alignment of sewer. This we know, right? Alignment means directions. Okay. So at every change in the gradient, that we know. At every junction of 2 or more sewers, at the head of all sewers or branches, right? Wherever is a change in size of sewer. These all conditions we discussed in whenever there is change in the alignment, whenever there is change in the gradient, whenever there is change in the whenever there is a junction of so many pipes, whenever the change is from small sewer to big sewer, right? So like whenever there is a junction of branch pipes, no, everywhere we are going to construct the manholes, right? Next, on straight reaches of sewer, manholes are provided at regular spacing which depends upon the size of the sewer. So all these conditions we already constructed, right? But if there is a straight sewer, you don't have any kind of these situations, no, there we have to construct a manhole at regular intervals. That regular interval is based on the size of the manhole, size of the sewer, size of the sewer. The regular interval of manhole will depends upon the size of the sewer. Okay, so the larger the diameter of the sewer, the greater may be the spacing between two manholes, right? So if I am taking, this is a big straight sewer line, right? So if this point of this, right, I am going to construct, right, manholes like this, right? If I am increasing the size, right, compared to this is big, no? So here if I am constructing here, another manhole will be some other location like this. Okay, so based on the size of the sewer is increasing, that the spacing also will get increased, right? So that is the point included. Further, the spacing between manholes are also depends upon the type of equipment to be used for cleaning of sewer, right? So in towns we will see one lorry with a wire, right? Big steel wire, no? So they will insert from here, right? And they will get the things from here and they will remove it, right? So with what kind of instrument we are using, or what kind of equipment we are using for the cleaning of that particular sewers, right? So based on that also we can fix this spacing of the manholes. Okay, now we can see the recommended spacing of manholes as per IS, Indian Standard 4111, right? So part 1 1991, here is the diameter of the sewer up to 300 mm, the spacing will be 45 meters, 300 mm 45 meters, then 300 to 500 75 meters, right? 500 to 900 90 meters, then 900 to 1200 120, okay, 1200 to 1500 250, more than 1500 we will go for 300 meters spacing. Okay, next, for sewers of diameter 0.9 to 1.5, 0.9 to 1.5 meter spacing of manholes are above 90 to 150. These are some of the guidelines again here considering here, right? So if the pipe diameter is having 0.9 to 1.5 meters, right? So the diameter, the spacing will be 90 to 150. Okay. Now if next level, that is 1.5 to 2.2 meters, now the spacing will be increased to 150 to 200, right? So next, here further that may be increased to 300 meters for rivers over the 2 meters. If it is more than 2 meters, we will go up to 300 meters. Okay. So in case of very large sewers, spacing allowance is 100 meter per 1 meter diameter. Okay. If it is 3 meters, 300, 2 meters, 200, 4 meters, 400, 5 meters, 500, 6 meters diameter, 600 meters. Like that we are going to provide, right, the spacing that is 100 meters per 1 meter diameter. Okay. Now you can see the manhole, right? Here we can see the manhole. There we are having different parts here. Okay. The first and foremost is this is the ground level. At ground level we will have a what is called entry, right? So we have a entry, that is called access, right? So access, here we have a cover and frame. Here we will have a cover, that top of the manhole will see the cover. So to place that cover we have a frame, right? We have a frame here. Then this is the access shaft, right? So this is the working area. This is working area. Here we can see the sewer, right? We have some inverted portion here where we have joining any other sewer line, it will come and the sewage will come and fall and enter into this, right? So here to access into inside we have the steps, ladder will be there, that ladder will be having a steps difference of 200 centimeter, okay, per 20 centimeter we have a one step, okay, so like that steps will be there, so man can come and see this, okay, this is invert bottom, right, like this is the sides of walls of the, right, what is called manhole, okay. So here what the different things we are having, the first component is what is called cover and frame, then accessing a shaft, then we have side walls, okay, then we have inverted bottom, okay, then we have ladder, okay. So these are the some of the components of manhole, okay. Now next, here also you can see, here it is a circular one, instead of circular pipeline we can have the even like canal also, right. Here also we are having one entry, this is access shaft, okay, this is working chamber, right. Here we have a semicircular open channel, okay. Now next, classification of manholes, okay. So classification of manholes is based on the depth, okay, from the ground level where it is located, okay. If it is at lower depths, now it is called shallow manhole, between that is medium, then at a deep, now it is called deep manhole, okay. Now shallow manhole, this is the first classification, shallow manhole, okay. It is about 0.7 to 0.9 meter in depth and is constructed, right, at start of the sewer, okay. At the starting of the sewer line we will have this kind of manholes, and it is not subjected to heavy traffic and is also called as the inspection chamber. It is also known as the inspection chamber, okay. It is rated 0.7 to 0.9 meter in depth, okay. Next, medium manhole, it is about 1.5 meters in depth, 1.5 meters in depth and constructed either square 1 meter by 1 meter or rectangular thing 1.2 to 1.2 meter by 1 meter. So covering with heavy cover at its top, okay. It may be subjected to heavy traffic, but it is not subjected, in the case of shallow manhole it is not subjected to heavy loads, right. Now deep manholes, it is having a third one, deep manhole, so it is having a depth more than 1.5 meters, okay. It is 0.7 to 9, it is 1.5, it is more than 1.5. Next, what are the different components of manholes here, okay. So you can see we have 6 things, we saw in the previous diagram, that is access shaft. If you are taking a okay, so here we have a top of this, we have a frame as well as the top lid, right, that cover is there, okay. The first thing, access shaft, this portion is the access shaft, this is number 1. Then coming to the second one, working area, this is working chamber. Next, benching or bottom or invert portion of the manhole, this is the bottom or invert portion, it is made up of the concrete and it will provide some slope. Then whatever pipe or sewer joined here, the sewage will go and enter into the sewage pipeline. So that is the third one, okay. This is the third one. Next, fourth one, that is side walls. These two are side walls, okay. So this is construction based on the height, right. So based on the earth pressure we will construct. Then steps or ladder, okay. Here to access into that we have a steps like this. For every 20 centimeters we will provide one step, okay, so that man can access into the manhole. Then coming to the sixth one, that is cover and frame. Cover and frame will be provided at the top, okay, so that it will be allowed for traffic. Whenever we have any maintenance or repair, we will open that top and we will enter into the manhole with help of the ladder, and we will see the all maintenance work. We will go back and we will replace that cover, okay. So these are the now you can see this is the top cover and this is the frame for that cover. We have to keep this, we have the frame here, normally we will see in the any town or city. So if you are taking a, this is circular one, this is a square rectangle shape, here we can see the sewage. To access into that we have the, what is called, ladder we are having, okay. So these kind of steps will be provided at the manhole. Okay. So next thing is drop manhole. Okay. The next component or next appendages in the sewer line is drop manhole. Right. So a drop manhole is a type of manhole which is constructed on a sewer line where a sewer at high level is to be connected to another sewer at a lower level. Okay. Already in the civil also, so what is called manhole also we saw, but here the main objective of this particular manhole is whenever one sewer line is coming like this, another sewer line is moving here. Okay, here we can see the level difference is much. Okay, so this is a high level, this is a low level, this is at high level, this is at low level. Whenever you are going to join the high level sewer with the low level sewer, that particular place we are going to use the drop manhole, right? So this is constructed in the cases. The first thing is branch sewers are generally situated at lower depths below the ground level. If I are taking the ground level here, right? So these branch sewers are located very less depth compared to the main sewer, right? This is more depth, this is less depth. Okay. In case of ground having a steep slope, it is not possible to lay the sewer line at a uniform gradient that not produce scouring velocity. So next, what is the next condition? Right? So ground may have steep slope. Okay, steep slope na water will come very fastly, right? So it is not possible to lay down the sewer line at a uniform, right? If we want to make uniform velocity, so you have to construct this. We already know that the velocity should not be more, should not be less. It should not be non-scouring and it should not be non-sitting velocity. To maintain that, right? So you need to construct, you need to go for this drop manholes. Okay. Now we can see the drop manhole. Here we can see this is the branch sewer coming at a higher depth, but this is closed. But this water is coming, this sewage will come and join the main sewer line like this. This is called the drop manhole. Here same thing. Manhole cover is there, right? This is the access shaft, right? So this is the pipe is coming here. We have some carpooling here. This is the plug for branch line. So water may not enter like this. It has to come like this. Okay. We have benching, right? We have main sewer, everything here. Okay. Next, the high level branch sewer is connected to a low level main sewer in a drop manhole by forming a ramp by increasing the grade of the least length of the branch sewer to about 45 degrees to the horizontal. Okay. We are going to provide a ramp like this with angle of 45 degrees to the main line. Okay. This is accomplished by providing Y piece at C as shown in the figure, right? So here, this is the Y piece. This is the point C here, right? You can see here. This is the point C, no? So here we are going to provide the Y piece like this. Okay. So next, in case of large drops, a large amount of cement concrete is required to support the horizontal length of sewer, and thus the whole construction become costly. Okay. Now we can see here, this is the branch sewer coming like this. Okay. It is going and joining with the main sewer line. Okay. So this is the drop. Okay. Here also you can see the thing. Okay. Now next, third one is lamp holes. Right. Already told that to inspect. Okay. To see the any obstruction is in between the 2 points. If I am taking the point A and point B. Right. So in some part of time of a day, we are getting upset, or we are seeing the overflowing of sewage or onto the roads. Okay. Then we can conclude that, right, there is some obstruction between happened in the points A and B, so that the water will come from this side, and we have to remove that obstruction, and we have to see that obstruction where it is located. Okay. So for do that, we have constructed some lamp poles, right? Lamp poles. From there, I am going to drop a electric bulb. so that light will be passed this side, light will can pass this side. I have next any other manhole, right? So from manhole, if I am going to next manhole and I am observing there, if there is no any obstruction between lamp hole to the point B, the light will be visible very clearly. Then we can know that there is no obstruction between from lamp hole to point B. Next I will go to next side of this pipe, that is called to the point A. There I will go and see the light, but I am unable to see the light. So what we will conclude there? So we are going to conclude that there is a obstruction between point A and lamp hole. Now by using any equipment or any instrument, we are going to remove this obstruction so that the water will, sewage will move very clearly. Okay, to give to suit for this purpose, we have the lamp holes. Okay, so this is generally will tell regarding the lamp holes. Okay, so lamp holes are small openings provided on a sewer lines mainly to permit insertion of a lamp, into the sewer for the purpose of inspection. What is the purpose? To inspect the sewer. Okay, so lines are detecting the presence of any obstruction inside the sewer, to inspect the any presence of obstruction inside the sewer. Okay, a lamp hole consists of a vertical stoneware or concrete cast iron, right? It may be a stoneware, or it may be concrete, or it may be a cast iron pipe with a diameter of 225 to 300 mm connected to the sewer through a T-junction. Okay, the pipe is surrounded by concrete to make the stable. The pipe is normally surrounded by a concrete. At the ground level, the lamp hole is provided with a manhole cover with frame strong enough to take up the load of traffic. It may be provided with a cover. That cover has to take care of traffic load. Okay, the manhole cover with frame is carried out, right? The manhole cover with frame is carried out on a concrete surrounding. It is separated from lamp hole by 15 cm vertical clay joints and permit the concrete surrounding to bear the traffic load possible to cover without causing pipe column. Okay, whenever we are providing the lamp hole like this, we have to fill the concrete surrounding to this. So the top will provide a cover so that no traffic load will damage this. Okay, so then lamp hole may be serve the following purpose. The first thing is inspection, second thing is flushing, then we have ventilation. Okay, for inspection purpose. Okay, the inspection purpose, what you are doing, you are going to insert a electric lamp inserted into the lamp hole, and the light of the lamp is operated from two manholes, right, upstream and downstream. Okay, so the other downstream of the lamp hole, if the sewer length is obstructed, the light of the lamp will be seen, right? Next, flushing. Under certain circumstances, when there is no flushing device are available, right, we will use these lamp holes for the flushing purpose. Flushing, now we have to give the much amount of water with a high velocity, so that is called flushing. So if you are sending water with high velocity, what it will do? It will carry out all the settled particles or settled sludge will be moved along with the water, and there won't be any obstruction in that particular place. For that, we are going to use this lamp hole. Sometimes when there is no flushing tank, we will use this lamp hole for that purpose, for flushing purpose. Then coming to the ventilation. If the cover at the top of the lamp hole is perforated, the ventilation of the sewer is affected. Such, the lamp hole is also known as the fresh air inlet. We have to send the fresh air into the, otherwise due to this biological degradation, right, that there may be much odors will be generated. Okay, to remove that also you can use this lamp hole. Okay, so lamp holes are found suitable for use under following conditions. Okay, so these are the three conditions where we are having the suitable situations. Okay, so lamp hole may be provided when there is change in the alignment or gradient. Okay. Now next, when the sewer is straight for considerable distance beyond the usual sweeping, a manhole lamp is provided. If it is a very lengthy sewer line, no, we can provide it. Whenever it is permitted a change in alignment also we will provide. Next, third case is when the construction of manhole is difficult, lamp hole may be provided. Okay, so manhole requires very large area, but it requires very small area. Then it may, however, noted that lamp holes have become more or less obsolete, and hence at present times these are rarely provided. These days we are not using, but it is rarely provided. Okay, next. So this is the pipe lamp hole, right? So here we have a cast iron lamp hole. So here we have provided the concrete sidewise. Here we have slab. Okay, here we are having the opening and join, right? So this is the sewer line. Here also it is a brick one, right? So brick, and we have a top and we have lid. Surrounding we have a brick masonry. Okay, so these are the lamp holes. Then coming to the next one, fourth one, clean outs, right? So clean outs are devices means for cleaning of the sewer. You can use it for cleaning of the sewers. So these are generally provided at the upper ends of lateral sewers in place of manholes, right? So if we are not providing manholes, no, we will go for this. Okay, so these are generally provided at the upper ends of the laterals. Upper end means top of that, right? So a clean out consists of a inclined pipe, one end which is connected to the underground sewer and another end brought to the ground level, right? So two ends. Okay, next one. A cover is provided at the top end of the clean out pipe at the ground level, right? So next we will see, again we will read out the point. So normally these clean outs are used to clean for the purpose of cleaning of the sewer. Okay, so these are the provided at the top of the top end. What is the upper end? Provided at the upper end of the lateral sewers. Okay, if I are taking this is the main sewer. Okay, these are called the lateral sewers, no? So the lateral sewers upper portion, starting stages, we will provide the clean outs. Okay, so these are consist of a inclined pipe with one end which is connected to the underground sewer and another is brought up to the ground level. One end is, it is an inclined one, like this. Okay, like this it will provided. One end is connected to the sewer, another end is coming to the ground level. Okay, a cover is provided at the top of the clean out. A cover will be provided. Next, for cleaning the sewer, the cover of the clean out is removed. The water is forced through the clean out pipe to the sewer to remove obstacles in the sewer. Just if you are having a clean out like this, no. So this is the lateral pipe. So here we have a cover. We will remove cover. We will send the water. Okay. So with very velocity, so that if there is an obstruction, no, it will flow and the obstruction will be removed. Okay. Now, if the obstructions are large enough, flexible rod may be inserted through the clean out pipe and pushed backward forward to remove such obstacle. If it is not moving with the water, na, so what we will do normally in our towns also, we will bring the some flexible rod, like a what is called steel rods will be there, or we can use some bamboo stick, no. So we will insert into this, right? We will do forward backward motion, no, so that the obstruction will be removed. Okay. Now we can see this is the clean out. Here you can see this is the pipe. Here we have a opening and it is closed. Okay. Here we can use any water or you can use any rod, flexible rod, so that the obstruction between the pipe will be removed. So this is one kind of clean out. Okay. So next thing, okay, we have fifth one, street inlets called gullies. Street inlets. Okay. These are meant to collect the what storm water onto the roads. So you can see the diagram. So then only you can what is called understood, right? So whenever road is like this, near to your platform, you can see this footpath. Now you can see this, or you may see this kind of gullies. Okay, these are meant to collect the storm water. If there is any storm water, no, so it will come and collect here. Okay. To do this, we are having these street inlets called gullies. Okay. So these are the devices meant to admit storm water. It is admit to the storm water, that is rainwater. Okay. And surface wash flowing along the roads and street convey the same to the stormwater sewers or combined sewers. From roads to sewers. Okay. To combine this, we are having these inlets. The inlet is a small box like chamber made of brickwork or concrete, right? Having opening at top in a vertical and horizontal direction for the entry of stormwater. It is a made up of brickwork or concrete. Okay, vertical shaft is there, so it will allow the rainwater from road to the inside into the. Okay, the water from this chamber leaves through an outlet provided at bottom and carried by the pipeline nearby manhole. Next, these inlets are three types. Okay, curb inlet, gutters inlet, and a combination of inlets. Okay, curb inlet. So curb inlets are provided the vertical opening in the road curb through which stormwater is flows. Okay, the openings are provided with the grating or closely placed bars. These inlets are preferred when heavy traffic is anticipated. The curb inlets are termed as deflector inflectors, equipment with diagonal arches cast into the gutters and curb opening form a series of ridges and deflectors. The deflectors inlet does not interfere with the flow or traffic of the traffic level. The deflectors in the plane. Okay, these are just like that. You can see if there is any heavy traffic now, so you can provide these kind of things. Then we will have the curb. This is the curb of the road now. So the curb will have a opening. These kind of things are called curb inlets. Okay. The next one, gutters inlets. Gutter inlets are also horizontal inlets. Horizontal inlets. Okay. Have the next thing of the picture now. So that horizontal opening in the gutters which are covered with a grating. Grating means it is like this. The steel bars, no, it will provide like grating like this. Okay. The clear opening between the bars of the grating should not be more than 25 mm. It is not more than 25 mm. Okay. Next. Third one, combination of inlets. Okay, combination inlets are composed of curb and that means the combination first two is called combination inlets. Normally, the gutters inlet is placed right in front of the curb inlet, but it may be displaced at a overlapping or end-to-end position. So both will be combined. This is the vertical, this is horizontal. No? So both will be combined. Each of above noted three type inlets may be either undepressed or depressed depending upon the elevation, right, based on the pavement surface. Okay. Now we will see. The inlets are usually located by the side of the roads. Maximum spacing of inlet may be based on the road condition, size and type of inlet, and based on the rainfall also you are going to provide. So a maximum spacing will be provided of 30 meters. A maximum spacing of provided 30 meters. Further, inlets are also located at intersections of roads, so places that crosswalks are not flooded. However, road corners are avoided for this purpose. Okay. Now we can see this is the horizontal. This is the curb, right? So this is the combination of both. Okay. Sometimes it may be located like this. Okay. So like this we have different types of things. So this is the curb. This is the gutters or grating. So these are the gratings, no? So we are using both, right? Now you can see this is the curb. Okay, this is the gutter. Both are there. That is combined. Okay. So now I am going to conclude now the class of today. So here we discussed the what is meant by appurtenances of sewer. Appurtenances. Then we saw the manhole, we saw the drop manhole, we have the light hole, and we have the clean out. Next, recently we are having the, what is that? Street inlets. Street inlets. Regarding 5 sewer appurtenances we discussed in the today's class. Okay. In the next class we are going to discuss about other topics like catch basins, right? So we have inverted siphons, flushing devices, then have the grease and oil traps, then we have the inverted side ones, then we have storm water overflow devices. Okay, so that's all for. Hello students, so in the previous class we discussed about the different sewer opportunities like manhole, drop hole, light hole, then clean outs as well as the street inlets. Okay, now today's class we are going to see the next thing, sixth one is called catch basins or catch pits. Okay, so these are provided along with the street, it is nothing but a street inlet, right? It is nothing but a street inlet, but provided with the additional small settling basin, to remove the grit, sand, debris, etc. These will settle that particular sedimentous tank, then only water will flow along with the sewer, so that there won't be any obstruction formation in the sewer line. Okay, so it is going to stop the entry of different debris. It is going to prevent the entry of that. Next, in addition to this, a hood as shown in the figure is also provided, which prevents the escape of foul gases which may find its way through the sewer line. It provided the hood. Okay, so it will correct the escape gas, foul gases. Okay, now catch basins need periodical cleaning, right? As they otherwise the settled organic matter may also decompose and produces foul odors, right? And may also become breeding place for mosquitoes. We have to clean in a periodical times. Then catch basins were considered necessary in old combined sewer systems, but however in modern days they are not considered a very essential. Nowadays these are not considered, right? So because the modern well paved streets offer very less grit and debris with storm runoff, and the same can be conveyed easily through the stormwater sewers laid suitable gradients provided with self-cleaning velocities. Because of all these reasons, nowadays we are not providing these catch basins. We can see this is the street inlet, we already know that, right? So these street inlets are connected to this catch basin. Here we can see this is the road, right, where catch basin grit is there, water will come here, whatever water particles and other debris we are going to float now, it will float and some grit will be settled at the bottom only. Free water will move through this sewer pipeline or any stormwater pipeline. Now you can see this, if we are not cleaning in a regular place, no, so the grit will increase like this and it will go and choke the sewage also, right? It may degrade and it will use the foul gases. Okay, so this is the thing for this. Moreover, the problem of erection of foul gases from stormwater sewers is very less. Okay, from stormwater sewer we will get very less. Why? Because it is a pure water. Okay, if it is a sewage now, we will get the foul water, and as such there is not much necessity of providing such basins in the modern separate systems. Okay, finally concluding that these catch basins are not necessary for the modern systems. Why? Because stormwater may not get fouled, and it may go with, we are not getting much grit, and it may not be what is called, we are going to provide with the self-cleaning velocity in the design itself, so there is no problem with the grit. Next, seventh one, that is flushing device. So flushing device will be used, right, to flush out the obstruction which is laid at the particular place. Okay, so it is not possible to obtain a self-cleaning velocity even once day due to flatness of the gradient, especially at the top ends of the branch sewers, which may receive very little flow. During the little flow, we are not going to maintain the self-cleaning velocity. To improve the self-cleaning velocity, we are going to flush some water so that the velocity of water will increase, so that there is no settlement of the particle. To happen that, we have to provide with the flushing devices. Similarly, near the dead ends of the sewer lines, the self-cleaning velocity cannot be achieved. Here also ending, starting the ending, we are not going to achieve the self-cleaning velocity. Okay, to accomplish that, we are going to provide with a flushing device, right? So here you can see this is the water. Here we have some tap to flush this. Okay, so whenever we have obstruction here, no, so water will be sent through like this, right? Next, in both cases, right, the discharge is required to increase, and this is done by adding of Okay, what is the those two cases we saw? Both starting as well as the ending of the sewer line. Okay, so wherever we have less self-cleaning velocity, in that cases we are going to add certain quantity of water by means of flushing devices. Okay, thus flushing devices help to prevent clogging of sewers. This also help in prevent the clogging and permit the adoption of flatter gradients. Okay, to maintain the self-cleaning velocity. With help of this, we are going to maintain the self-cleaning velocity. There won't be anything, right? So the various flushing devices may be broadly classified as hand-operated flush system, flushing tanks. Okay, automatic. We have both hand-operated as well as the automatic. Here we can see the picture of this. Okay, here we have a water, right? So here you have a flushing valve. Okay, so from water pipeline, water will come and see here. Okay, this is the overflow pipe and lamp hole are provided at the case. Okay, next. Grease and oil traps. So grease and oil traps are provided on the sewer line to exclude, and that means to remove the or to collect the grease and oil from the sewage before it enters into the sewer line. So what is the disadvantage of this grease and oil? No? So it will go and if we are going, we are taking this sewage to the treatment plant. No? There we have so many difficulties when the wastewater is having grease and oil. So from where grease and oil will come? Normally, if we are using kitchen water, right, from the sullage, no. So after your food material, will get the oils. Okay. So if there is an automobile industry, there is automobile repair shop, right? There is anything kind of things will get the oil and grease while cleaning, while doing any manufacturing, no. So we will do oil and grease. Okay. We have to remove that oil and grease so that the water may be, the sewage may be treated perfectly. Okay, so these are excluded from oil from the sewage before it enters the sewer line. That point we know. Next, these are located near the sources contributing oil and grease. What are the different sources? Automobile repair workshops, garages, kitchens of hotels, grease and oil production industries. These are the sources. From there we will get oil and grease. That oil and grease will be removed before the sewage is get entered into the sewer line. For that purpose, we are going to have these oil and grease traps. Okay. Now you can see here, from water from coming here, it will come here, right? The solids will be settled due to this specific gravity difference. Oil and grease will have less specific gravity, that is less than 1. Less than 1 is water will have 1. Less than that we will have no. So because of that, grease and oil will float at the top, and clean water will be taken out from here. Okay. So here we can see, this is the chamber provided where you can see this oil, it is floating over the water. Okay. Next, the essential exclude grease and oil from sewage due to following reasons. Why you need to remove the oil and grease? If oil and grease are allowed to enter into sewer, they will stick to the inner surface of the sewer and will become hard and cause the obstruction to the flow. They may become hard and they will become obstruction to the flow and reducing the sewer capacity. That is the first reason. Or the second reason, the suspended matter which would be have otherwise flown along the sewage will stick to the inner surface of the sewer due to sticky nature. Grease and oil thus further reduce the sewage capacity also. Okay. Next, the presence of grease and oil in the sewage makes the sewage treatment difficult. This is the important point. The sewage treatment will get difficult to treat. Okay. They also adversely affect the biochemical reactions. Next, the presence of layer of oil and grease on the surface of sewage does not allow oxygen penetrate into the water, so that the aerobic bacteria may not be survive, it is going to die, right? So because of this aerobic conditions are not there, there will be prevailing of anaerobic conditions. So anaerobic conditions will produce the both bad odors. It is going to give us the bad odors. Then the presence of oil and grease in sewage increases the possibility of explosion. Sometimes we will go for it may be happen that explosion. Okay. Next, the principle on which grease and oil traps work is very simple, right? So here the oil being a lightweight, it is having a specific gravity less than 1, right? 0.6, 0.7. Because of that, it will float on the surface of sewage. Hence, the outlet drawn sewage from lower level grease and oils will be excluded. Okay, the grease and oil trap is a chamber outlet provided with a lower level near the bottom of the chamber. That already the construction we already saw in the diagram. However, in addition to the grease and oil, if it is desired to exclude sand, space should be kept at the bottom of the chamber. Here you can see the inlet chamber is coming at high level and its water is entering at lower level. Here if you want to collect the sand and grit now, you are having some space here due to this lightweight difference now, oil and grease will float at top, so and the remaining clean water will be collected from the outside. Okay, so like this it is constructed. Okay, next, ninth one, inverted siphons. A inverted siphon is a section of sewer which is constructed lower the adjacent sections to pass beneath a valley or a river stream, a road, railway, and such as the obstruction. That means if I am having the a road like this at a higher depth, my sewer pipe is coming like this. My sewer pipeline coming like this. I can't able to put the sewer line like this. So what I have to do? I have to lower down and we have to take it like this. I need to take it like this. So in these conditions, I need to have this inverted siphon beneath a road, beneath a stream or whatever it may be. Okay, it runs full at greater than atmospheric pressure because the crown is depressed below the hydraulic gradient. This is the crown portion now, this is depressed in the hydraulic gradient. Okay, next, here you can see this is the a stream. Okay, below the stream we are going to construct a pipe in a inverted shape, that is called section. If you are seeing from top, it will look like side view, it will be like this. Okay, next, it poses the following disadvantages. What is the disadvantage of by doing this? Okay, the down gradient in the siphon pipe is not continuous and they are likely to get silted. Okay, if it is not properly designed and maintained. Okay, self-cleaning velocity also flows. When once silted, it is very difficult to remove the silt from that portion. Now, if you are having portion like this, you have to take care there no silt will be accumulated here. If silt is accumulated here, it is very difficult to remove. Okay, next, if the inlet chamber is not properly designed, the floating matter contained in the sewage will separate out and it will accumulate in the inlet chamber. The working of inlet chamber and then seriously affected. Okay, here what is the inlet chamber? This is the inlet chamber. If you are not properly designed, every matter will be float here and it will get choked and there is no water flow, right? So that will be affected. Next, it is not possible to give side connections to the inverted siphons, that we know. When the inverted siphons are built on the under the river bed, it should be seen that they possess sufficient weight or anchorage to prevent their flotation when they empty. When it is empty, now it will flow. It will what is called float, right? So next, last 10th one is called stormwater or overflow devices or stormwater regulators. So whenever you are having excess stormwater now, so you have to have a one outlet. So your sewer system may not have in the partially separated system, we know, right? So in the partially separated system, what we discussed, right? Initially, the sufficient amount of stormwater along with the sewage will be combinedly taken in a pipe. So whenever there is a heavy rainfall, so we will get heavy runoff. So due to that, the present what is called pipeline or sewer line may not be able to carry whole stormwater, right? So to take that particular excess stormwater and we have to dispose into the nearby stream or river, we need to have some upper component that is called stormwater overflow device or stormwater regulators. Now here in the case of combined system of sewage, a large quantity of sewage stormwater flows through the sewer along with the domestic. Usually it is neither advisable nor practicable to pump or treat such large quantity of sewage. Moreover, the percentage of domestic sewage in a combined system is very much less. Hence, the domestic sewage gets diluted by stormwater to the controlled extent. Even in the case of combined, even in the partial system also, we are going to dispose the extra rainwater, right? So with the help of this, you can see this. This is the sewer line and it is connected to a stream. Okay, if there is excess water, we will do that. Okay, so it is therefore possible to divert a portion of the combined sewage or discharge into the water course such as stream, nalla or river without any trouble. We can dispose the extra water. Okay, that is extra storm water. So it is not advisable to treat. We can't able to treat that much of water. It is a heavy rainfall. Okay, that heavy rainfall water will be diluted with the help of these stormwater outlets. Okay, this is achieved by providing a stormwater outflow device or stormwater regulators. Okay, in intercepting sewage. Okay, next the following are the three types of stormwater overflows, that is side overflow weir, leaping weirs or siphon spillways. Okay, so these are the sewer appurtenances used in the sewerage system. Okay, so totally we have 10. Okay, manhole, drop manhole, light hole, then inlets, right, clean outs. Then we have in the today's class we saw the flushing system, right. So we have the inverted siphons, we have the stormwater outlets. Okay, so like this iron grease taps, like this we are the 10 appurtenances. Okay, so in the next class we are going to see what is the maintenance and ventilation of the sewer. That is the last topic in this first unit. Okay, so thank you.